present to you two men whose dream came true with the birth of the Heritage Singers in 1971, Mace and Gerry Leiske.
Thank you very much. What a joy this is, Gerry, for an evening of praise. And how many Heritage Singers are here tonight? 130 some, isn't it?
Seems that way, just about 137, 38, I guess, something like that.
That's a miracle, folks. Isn't it great? Gerry, 15 years ago, you and I sat down and we had a dream. And that dream was to put together a group of young people to share the good news of Jesus Christ and His love. And I tell you, we were in Portland, Oregon, you were in Vancouver, British Columbia, and every other weekend we used to go back and forth to practice for how many months?
I guess it was around 2 months, Max.
2 or 3 months?
3 months. Trying to pick up some money along the way to make this all work, but anyway.
Yeah, I remember, you know, when we first got started, we went around to some people and we said, boy, we'd like to get a musical group started. And people said, boy, that sounds like a good idea. I hope you make it. And they'd turn around and walk away. But anyway, there was a few people who believed in us, a few people that stood behind us. And I remember your father and your mother was one of those people that put up a lot of money to help us get started, Gerry, and I appreciated that so much. Gerry, when we first got started, we had quite a few experiences, and share a little experience when we first got started. I think share that one about the bus on the publicity pictures.
I want to say, first of all, Max, that I'm just so pleased to be here at this gospel festival that we have tonight, and that it took one ingredient that it took with the original group, and especially was faith. And you know, I think that that is an ingredient that went through the entire group of the Heritage Singers. It went from group one right to the very last group you have now. But as that type of faith that we had leads to this story, which I'm about to tell you. And it was when we went to get the old Big Blue, who was silver at that time, in the stock yards or the graveyards of San Francisco, where all these buses were. And we went down to pick this bus out, Bruce Twing and myself. We looked at around 120 buses. They all looked the same. After talking to people, we managed to pick one out. I never drove a bus before, but I got in there and we started down the streets of San Francisco. We didn't get too far when Bruce said, I think we better stop, Gerry, and have a word of prayer so we can make it out of here. And we did. Well, the Lord helped us out one way or another.
Do you remember at 2 o'clock that afternoon, we had about 3 or 4 days before our first concert, we didn't have a bus, and we'd been praying about it. We had a prayer meeting that morning, and we said, Lord, we don't know how you want us to get to our first concert, June 4, 1971, in Yakima, Washington. That morning we prayed. We started practicing at 2 o'clock that afternoon. We received a phone call from San Francisco, from the Greyhound people, and they said, we have a bus for you. Send some men down. And so we took Gerry and Bruce to the airport, and they flew. And Gerry, what a thrill it was. The Greyhound company gave us that scenic cruiser, 43 passenger, 45 passenger bus. It's been completely overhauled. Everything had been done to it. Sold it to us for $6,000. And then we had to buy tires, and that came to around 71 or 200. So we just knew God had a plan for us. And there's one more thing before we bring the group out, Gerry. I want you to share. We were taking publicity pictures on the beach of the Oregon beach. And we were really going to do it upright. And we was going to get the bus just right on the sand. Share that.
That's right. Well, we wanted to do things in style and something that would catch everybody's attention on the albums. And so we figured if we'd get down and right beside the ocean, you know, right in the sand when the tide was out, we'd have just a great looking photo album or an album, yeah, music album. And so we got it down there and we got it on the sand, and pretty soon that big old hunk of metal started sinking. And we began to stand back and look a little bit, and we began to realize it wasn't a hot idea.
We were stuck.
We were stuck. We started pushing, but that didn't help much. Bob really pushed hard, but that didn't seem to help. But at any rate, pretty soon the tide started coming in. And then we started getting nervous.
And we had our sound system all underneath there, didn't we?
That's right. We started jerking the sound system out because we had a concert to do. And then, pretty soon we started looking for records, and they sent us a little truck out, didn't they?
A little tiny truck, and it couldn't pull anything. We said, get that out of here, get a big one.
Was it your idea, though, that we hook it to the door?
No, not mine, Gerry. Not mine.
Because we ripped the door right off. I don't know
ripped the door off. I'm sure that wasn't me.
I think it was.
But anyway.
That's why you ended up the musical director, you see.
Okay, we won't go into that. Gerry, I think we should bring out the original Heritage Singers that started this whole thing in 1971. I want you to make welcome the original Heritage Singers. Come on.
Come along with me to a land called